Hi everyone, thanks for your interest in my project. My name is Rebecca and mine is a new build located in Heathmont, which is an outer eastern suburb of Melbourne. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the Wurundjeri people, who are the traditional custodians of the land I live on, and pay my respects to their elders past and present. These are the areas that I'm going to briefly cover in this presentation. I thought it might be helpful to give some background to this project to give it a bit of context. My husband and I bought this property in 1993. The original house was on just under an acre, which you can see outlined here in red, and because of the way the house was situated on the block on the top right, fronting the road, the potential was there for future subdivision, although this wasn't in our minds when we bought it initially. In our council area, there is a minimum block size of 864 square metres, so the block was divided into 3 lots of roughly a quarter of an acre each, and you can see these marked in yellow. There's a common property driveway servicing the rear 2 blocks, and a triangle of land to the south was donated to council for planned open space because that's a requirement of a 3-lot subdivision. The block I chose is on the southeast corner, and you can see the building envelope marked there. The brief that I came up with was that I wanted it to be an all-electric house. As you can see in this photo, the block backs onto a reserve. So I wanted the house to be an upside-down house, with the kitchen, the main living area and the master bedroom on the 2nd floor to make the most of what I hoped would be lovely views through the bushland to the south and towards the Dandenong Ranges in the east. I wanted it to be multi-use for a variety of household configurations, and currently there are 4 adults living in the house. I'd like to be able to live here as long as possible, so because the master bedroom and main living areas are upstairs, I have a lift, and the halls and doorway widths accommodate walkers and wheelchairs. I also wanted the house to be as energy and water efficient as possible and to be designed and built along Passive House principles, although it's not Passive House certified. It also needed to be BAL 19 compliant because of our proximity to the bushland to the south of the property. I did make some compromises to Passive House design. So for example, as you may have noticed on the previous slide, the building footprint means that the surface area to volume ratio is higher than is desirable for maximum energy efficiency. The house also has lots of windows, including a lot of south and east facing windows. And some other compromises are that it has an open stairwell, that, as you can see here in this photo, and it also has active heating and cooling. And finally, because I embarked on this project alone and had no experience in building or construction, I wanted to use people that I knew and trusted. This included an architectural draftsman and a builder, both of whom had no experience of Passive House or of sustainable design and construction. The house has a variety of energy saving features, both passive and active, and it has a NatHERS rating of 7.4. The block has a north-facing orientation, some deciduous planting, and although it doesn't have eaves, it has motorised external Venetian blinds on the north-facing windows to maximise winter sun and provide shading in summer. This is a list of some of the features of the house that I won't go through in detail, but just provided here for your interest. The house has a double frame with an inner and outer membrane, meaning that it is airtight. The airtight membrane was a challenge for the trades as they hadn't come across this before and couldn't understand why they weren't allowed to make holes in it. The photo on the left here shows the waterproof outer membrane as it was being applied, and the one on the right shows the battens that the charred timber cladding was fixed to. This is an interior photo showing the internal airtight membrane, also with battening for the plaster to be attached to. The blue tape was used to seal the joins between the edges of the membrane and also any air gaps or small holes that might have been made. As you may know, air tightness is measured in air changes per hour in a building that has been positively pressured to 50 pascals. Passive House certification requires 0.6 air changes per hour. We had a blower door test done when the wrap went on, but before the plaster was put up, so that there'd be an opportunity to identify any gaps or small holes. Shannon, my builder, was aiming for less than 1 ACH, but we achieved 1.7 ACH, which I thought was a great outcome, given the complexity of the build and the unfamiliarity of the trades with the concept. and this compares to 23 ACH for my old house and an average of 15.4 ACH in new builds in Australia. With a sealed house, you need a mechanical heat recovery ventilation system to provide fresh air and remove stale air. This has actually been brilliant as there's continual fresh air in the house, even when it's closed up in the middle of winter. These two photos show a close-up of the charred timber cladding and also the recycled spotted gum timber post and spotted gum horizontal fascia. As you can see in the photo on the right, the cladding was quite labour intensive to attach, as it had 5 different profiles and some very long runs. The windows have UPVC frames and are tilt and turn low E and double glazed. They're also situated to allow cross ventilation in summer. These photos show some of the other features of the house. The top left-hand side shows my dogs enjoying the pellet heater, which is compliant with an airtight house. It uses pellets made from compressed sawdust, which is a byproduct of the timber industry. An airtight house can't have a ducted range hood, so the photo on the bottom left shows the Miele recirculating range hood situated above the induction cooktop on the island bench. And the photo in the right shows the downstairs bathroom, which features an old bath that I bought on eBay and had re-enamelled. We have a 21,500 litre underground water tank that's used for toilets, the washing machine and the garden. We also have water efficient appliances and permeable asphalt in sections of the common property driveway, which was stipulated by council. We also make use of some passive irrigation. And these photos just show the water tank as when it was being installed. The garden is still a work in progress, and as I mentioned earlier, the front garden has a number of deciduous trees and plantings. This is a photo of the backyard, which backs onto the Dandenong Creek Reserve, so it's planted up with locally indigenous species. I'm also developing a veggie garden, and we'll have a chook shed and a chook run, and the run will also enclose a small orchard, plus I have a compost bin and a worm farm. Regarding energy use, for 9 months of the year, energy consumption for our 291 square metre house is consistently 12 to 15 kilowatt hours per day. During June, July and August, that goes up to about 22 to 23 kilowatt hours per day. This is due to the use of heating during winter, as there are 3 people working from home who are fairly sedentary for much of the day, meaning that they get a bit cold. We try to use high energy appliances during the day to utilise our own solar power and to lessen the demand on the grid during peak times. The 9.99 kilowatts of solar panels that we have easily cover our daytime usage during summer, but not during the middle of winter, because although the block is north facing, it's on the southeast side of a hill, so we lose the winter sun by early to mid-afternoon. One of the major benefits of the house, apart from the fact that it's a beautiful space to live in, is actually how comfortable the temperature is. There are no extreme fluctuations in temperature as in my previous 1970s built house. And even on the coldest nights in a Melbourne winter, the temperature doesn't drop much below 16 degrees, even without any window coverings. Another benefit is that it was great to be able to expose people in the construction industry to the concept of passive house and sustainable design, because many had never heard of it before, which I was quite surprised about. Shannon, my builder, has since gone on and done his passive house certification and really believes it to be the way of the future. So that to me is a great outcome also. This slide shows some of the potential issues, I guess. So lots of windows. The slide on the left shows the east-facing windows in the kitchen that during last summer let in a lot of heat on a hot morning, which was then retained for the rest of the day. I've since had external blinds fitted to those windows, so it'll be interesting to see what difference they make in summer. In the future, I'm going to look at battery storage and also maybe some different interior window coverings, which would mainly be to reduce heat loss during winter. This final slide is a list of some of the resources and companies I used and would recommend in case you're interested. Thanks very much for watching and good luck with your own energy efficiency project. Have a great day.